Good evening, everybody. This is our presentation for supply chain management. The company who gave us their time and allowed us to tour the warehouse was Stanley Black & Decker. We are going to talk about their inventory strategies, supply management, warehousing, sustainability, among other things. My name is Kayla, this is Rana, and that's Sean. We hope you enjoy our presentation.
So we will start with introducing Stanley Black & Decker background information, little bit about the company itself. As we know, Stanley Black & Decker is the world's largest tool and storage company, and it is one of the leader provider of engineering and fastening system. We visited them in their warehouse in Mississauga in Mill Creek, and this is the only warehouse a big warehouse in Canada. And they are one of the global provider of hand tools, power tools, and related accessories. Under Stanley Black & Decker, there is many brands or companies under the same umbrella, and they are listed here. One of them is Stanley, DeWalt, Black & Decker, Bostitch, Powers, and recently they bought Irwin, Lennox, and Helmor. Now we'll talk a little bit about their vision and the way how they build their product. So the more famous vision they have is to empower people to turn their houses into home. And this is by providing a practical product and practical innovation solution and services to make life easier and the business workplace more safer for employees and laborers. The majority of their sales are done through retailer, home center, and home hardware stores. The business division, like we said previously, it is divided into 4 big sections. The power tools include all the brands we talked about previously, like Powers, DeWalt, Bostitch, etc. But what we mean by power tools is everything like drill, wrenches, sanders, and garden products, staples, and staplers. And also the cleaning products like vacuum and those kind of stuff. The second section is the hand tool. It's everything like leveling tool, the measure tapes, the knife, saw, and those kind of product or solutions. Third part is the power tool accessories, which include the saw blades and the drill bits. Last one is the storage product, which is like toolbox for medical cabinet and etc. Stanley Black & Decker is growing day after day, and like we previously said, they are buying new companies always, but their most recent shift in their business was a few months ago when they bought Irwin and Helmor. They recorded an increase in sales by 3.65% year after year, and this was announced in Q3 2017. And also they recorded an increase in cost of sales of 13.83% year after year, and this is also was in Q3 2017. As per our course in supply chain management, we learned that the first step in the successful supply chain management will start in customer service. Stanley Black & Decker, as any of the company, focus a lot about customer service, and they mention a lot the word VOC, which means voice of customer. The goal of voice of customer is to listen to customer to improve customer service in the supply chain. By saying that, it is a way to increase the customer service satisfaction through their call center and all the way of interaction between customer and them. It is the process of capturing all requirement and feedback from customer And as per our interview, or not interview, our meeting there with them, they mentioned that they do a lot of sales conference on yearly basis to hear from their customer, to know more about what they are doing good and what they can make better for next year. And based on that, they change in their policies and in their customer service satisfaction process. CRM, it's a customer relationship management. It is one also of the process they use in Stanley Black & Decker, and the idea behind that is to enable business to understand the customer more, understand their need very, very smartly, and at the same time attract a new customer and retain their loyal customer and their big account which they have already in their business. And same time decrease the customer management cost, which on daily basis will have. Another point about the customer relationship management is to understand how to differentiate their customer, and they mentioned this to us on all our meeting with them and during the tour, that they differentiate their customer in a smart way to have them getting the great service they can provide, and based on their level of customer service, and of course about how much business this company or this customer brought to them, to Stanley Black & Decker. And this is what they are doing right now in customer service department. They divided the customer based on their type, how much business they have, how much need they have in the business, and in the same time they based on this differentiation the promotion they want to offer to this customer and their column pricing, which is on every product they will buy from Stanley Black & Decker. The goal in customer service department is always the same. It is to reduce the turnover of order management and order entry on daily basis, to cut off this wait time between sending the PO to the customer service or to Canada customer service desk until the order leave the warehouse. So they are trying their best on every day to reduce this turnover and this timing. The second thing is to increase efficiency and get order out of the door as soon as possible and quickly as possible. Reduce entering error, of course, during the order management system. Improve the cycle time. Provide on-time delivery. What they are working right now on in the customer service department is to have 800 line just for their VIP customer, the bigger account they have, and dedicate for this VIP customer customer service agent who take care on this like accounts and business to make more satisfaction. And of course they are working on Salesforce program, which will be introduced early in 2019.
Another main part to supply chain management is the inventory strategies that companies use to control their inventory. One of the most difficult decisions is how to handle their inventory, where to put it, how to store it, and how to keep track of it. Stanley Black & Decker uses a warehouse management system that uses SAP up in their office, and it uses a planning system called JDA in their warehouse. Both systems are linked together so that everyone can see coming down orders, things like that, so everyone's on the same page. This helps increase efficiency. One of the major problems for companies is having more inventory on hand than intended. This is obviously never the intention, however, sometimes it happens accidentally. Stanley Black & Decker has this happen for two main reasons. The first one is customers drop out of their forecast. Maybe you're planning on that customer buying more things than they are, and all of a sudden they stop buying from you. Another reason why is their suppliers have high MOQs. That's the minimum order quantity. So for example, say your customers only need 500 pieces, but your minimum order quantity from your supplier is 2,000. So then after you fulfill your orders for your customers, you're left with 1,500 pieces on hand. which may be more than a year's worth of sales for you. Stanley Black & Decker currently uses a bottom-up approach for forecasting. They have demand planners, which are assigned to each major account, who forecast for that account only, and then they tell management how much of each item they're going to need. They are currently talking about switching to a top-down approach. So the management is going to come up with a big number or a certain amount of number of an item that they're going to bring in. And it's up to the demand planners to work together to divide it up among the big accounts to make sure everyone is getting the proper inventory, and maybe even make a recommendation to the management to order more of that inventory. Quality is built directly into Stanley Black & Decker's supply chain, which is a great benefit as it can help give better products to their customers. So they even check quality at their suppliers. So when they receive shipments, they'll have someone at the port which do an audit. So what that means is they'll check the items in the container, they'll check to make sure it's the right quantity. So those are random spot checks to make sure the suppliers are shipping what they're supposed to be shipping. They also have quality at their facility. They're checking the items. They have replacement areas, so if something arrives broken, they put it in this repair area and they get the parts to fix it before shipping it to the customers. However, no company is perfect and there's always a chance for human error. So the chance of that is with them picking. So for example, if the company is supposed to pick 3 boxes of one item, maybe the picker picks 2 of one boxes of one item and 1 of another. When Stanley Black & Decker notices that, they have a training for their employees to help prevent that. This is to help better ensure accuracy in the orders to give the better customer service as they'll be getting what they requested. They also don't try and they don't try and punish their employees for it. They try and teach them the proper way to do it instead. Stanley Black & Decker measures inventory strategy success in 2 ways. It's the order cycle time and the sales per unit. The order cycle time is the time period between the placing of the order and the next order. So how long are customers waiting to place their orders? You obviously don't want that to be too long. The other one is sales per unit, which is the total sales per SKU divided by the quantity sold. This allows them to see exactly how successful a SKU is doing, and maybe they either need to promote it more or maybe they need to discontinue the SKU as they're losing money. The next main category is supply management. Not only does Stanley Black & Decker have to be able to manage their inventory, they have to be able to manage their suppliers as well. So they rely on a lot of loyal suppliers, which in return results in a lot of sole suppliers. So they're only having 1 supplier for the majority of their items. They do try and keep open lines of communication, and because of the evolution of the World Wide Web, they developed a global supplier portal, which a screenshot can be seen here. Any authorized supplier is provided a login where they can log into the portal and they can see the forecast, open POs. They can also provide advanced shipping notice for Stanley Black & Decker so they can see what's coming and be ready to receive it before it even gets to their facility. Stanley Black & Decker can also log into the portal on their side as well to see outstanding POs, see if anything's shipping late, and it's almost a way to bring up red flags. Stanley Black & Decker is shifting the builds of products to where it's sold. So if it is sold in Canada, they're going to try and make it more in Canada. If it's sold in the United States, they're going to try and make it more in the United States. And by doing that, they're also going to leverage their inventories. So if they have it in the United States, they're not going to wait for Canada to produce it. If it's a tight timeline, they'll just ship it up from the United States. Stanley Black & Decker doesn't formally evaluate all their suppliers. That's just based on the structure that they have. However, expectations are known. So the main 2 expectations our suppliers have are being on time and the unit fill rate. If anything comes up where the supplier is going to be late, they're supposed to notify Stanley Black & Decker right away. The suppliers are on a need-to-know basis. There are some things, there's trade secrets that Stanley Black & Decker keeps internal. However, things like palletization and different maybe specifications for items will be provided to them so they can provide the proper service.
Being a large distribution center, transportation and distribution are 2 key parts of the job. The 2 biggest parts of transportation come down to shipping and receiving, which is the sending out of goods and receiving goods into the warehouse. Shipping is done at a different side of the building than the receiving is. This helps to prevent the departments mixing together and allows the employees to see more clearly what's coming in and what's going out, and prevents any confusion, being a large distribution center with many docks. As you can see here at the docks, everything is kept clutter-free. The skids are wrapped, labeled, ready to go. At this point in time, you can see there's nothing in the way, so it'll be quick to load them in or quick to load them out, depending on what the situation may be. Being a very large distribution center, like I said, there's always a high volume of containers coming in and going out. This helps to improve the speed of the orders. If there's frequently stock being brought into the warehouse, then it allows the shipping and receiving team to adequately fill their order rates and get them out. This helps with the speed, which they emphasize many times is very important to them, and helps to avoid late penalties, as many of their larger customers may employ late penalties if shipments arrive after the deadline. There have been times where they would even purchase goods from United States distribution centers as opposed to overseas. All of this is done to improve speed, as bringing it overseas sometimes can take a lot longer, and sometimes shipments can be delayed, whereas if it's brought in from the USA, it's a lot easier for them to ensure those fill rates and keep a good image with all their major customers. The warehouse, this is a picture of what you see when you first walk in. As you can see, everything is clean, clutter-free. It's good housekeeping. You see all the garbage bins. These are actually all throughout the warehouse and distribution center as it is here. This prevents clutter and being in the aisles, which could be a potential safety hazard. And these are hot products that have all been wrapped already. That's the pre-staging session, so what they do with those is keep those off to the side and easily accessible from the aisles. It allows them to take the products that are moving more frequently than others and send them out and keep them right in the aisle, so they don't have to go digging in the back of the warehouse in order to find these products. There's also machines that help store and sort the different parts, because many of the components that they have there are made up of many little pieces, and to prevent the loss of little pieces and errors in between them, they have machines that can sort them all. They also have zones for different types of the product. So there are sections of the warehouse that are primarily alphabetized. There are certain sections that are cut into this category of product, and this will be another category, and then within their categories respectively, they are sorted alphabetically so that it's easy for the order pickers and shippers to find their pieces. As you can see in this picture here, safety is of most importance. They've been almost a full year without an accident. So it's noticeable right upon entry to the distribution center. As you can see, there are signs on the walls like this one, lines on the floors, and neatly organized shelves help prevent any potential hazards that may occur. I also found this to be very interesting, the days without incident, as it might create a kind of a team mentality, as no one person wanting to be the one person who set that clock back to zero, ensuring that safety is always prioritized over other things, even efficiency. Visibility is a big part. As Kayla touched on earlier, they have the warehouse management system. Basically, this lets the order be tracked from the second it comes in to it says when it should leave, what can be filled, what the parts are, and how prioritized it is, being a rush order or just a standard stock order. An important part of the tracking orders is all this, and having access at multiple stages of the company is very beneficial, as it gives a bigger chance for somebody to catch a potential error or mistake from happening before it will. For example, if they don't have multiple levels of access and only one person can see where the order is and what's to be put on it, there's a higher chance of that person not seeing a potential issue. Sustainability was made clear that they are trying to improve upon these things. Currently, they don't actually make any of the gas-powered tools themselves, but it's more electrical-powered and battery-powered tools. With that said, you will be able to find gas-powered products, but they are simply leasing a name rather than actually manufacturing themselves, so they're doing their part to reduce the fossil fuel emissions there. This keeps a good public opinion of the company, as they're not constantly damaging the ozone layer. Internal efforts to improve. Currently, they are not run through LEDs, they're still using incandescent bulbs. With that said, they have been actively looking and trying to find ways to switch it over to LED, as they think that that would be a worthwhile investment as well. Renewable energy seems unrealistic at the stage of the Stanley Black & Decker distribution center, and the reason for this is that they're on a lease currently. Although these are perfect if you own the building and you're there long term, the issue with this being that they're there short term, and it may take a long time to buy back and get their money back for the things that they put in, as well as it would do for the environment.
So from the project, we feel there's always opportunities for a company to be more efficient and effective. Stanley Black & Decker included. They actually agree with us, and they have a Stanley fulfillment system, and that is their saying of continuously developing, continuously looking for ways to do better. So we feel they could do that by maybe lowering their inventory hand, like their MOQs, or shipping things consolidated. Overall, we feel they're a very valid customer, but as they grow, things will have to change. We hope you enjoyed our presentation and thank you for your time.